Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Have you ever been driven crazy by tracking a new product that's been on the boat for the past 6 months and wondering what kind of boat moves that slow? Well, we're going to be talking about that today because Fantasy Flight has made some recent changes to their upcoming page, and we're going to talk about all of that, why they did it, and the new results. And it's actually a pretty positive change, I think. But first, I want to talk to you guys about 12 Days of Life Day. This is a new thing I am doing in December. I am going to be doing 12 giveaways in the month of December, and you're going to have to watch for them because they're kind of going to be sporadically placed out all over December, and they're going to be surprise giveaways. So if you're interested in winning something from the 12 Days of Life Day, all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos, and I will be just selecting 12 people at random and randomly giving away stuff. Now, what kind of stuff? Well, if you've seen my previous giveaways, you might have an idea. Some things might be game related. Some things might be games. Some things might be promos. Maybe promos for some of your favorite games. Some of my selection of winners, like if you comment a lot on an X-Wing video, you might get something X-Wing related. If you comment a lot on an Armada video, you might get something Armada related, or Legion, or something like that. Or, so like I'm going to use like where I'm getting the traffic and who's talking about which games to kind of influence some of the prize selection. But rest assured, there's going to be lots of giveaway stuff to hand out, and it's my way to kind of wish you guys happy holidays and a happy Life Day, or Merry Christmas, or Happy Hanukkah, or Happy Ramadan, Happy Kwanzaa, or if there's anything I'm leaving out, or just Happy December. If maybe you don't even have to celebrate any holidays. It's just my gift to you guys. Now you will have until January 1st to claim these prizes. And usually that's just to email me at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. You can always find my contact information on the About page of my YouTube channel, or if you go to crabbok.com, I have an About page there where you can contact me. But anything that goes unclaimed come January, well, all of that's going to roll over into Patreon. So it's another way for me to give back to patrons. Now, patrons are also going to be getting their own giveaway during this time. I have one going right now. So if you are interested in supporting the channel, there are links down in the description below. Next year, there may be some changes. There's this new COPA ruling from California that's basically changing the way YouTube collects information for child viewers, people under the age of 13. And any channel that's basically deemed to be, focusing on children, or that they think is focusing on children, is subject to serious penalties. Like I might lose all ads, I might lose a lot of stuff. I may not even exist anymore next year. Now, I don't think that that's going to happen. A lot of people have asked me about that. And so, this is kind of like one last big giveaway just in case. But yeah, so hopefully I don't get shut down. But if you're interested in helping me to continue to be able to make videos, Patreon is a great way to do that. I will also be announcing some of these winners in various other social media forms. So they won't all be announced on YouTube. I think probably most of them will be announced on YouTube. But this is a great opportunity, if you don't already, to follow me on other social media. So Twitter, for example, I will announce some winners on Twitter. I'll also announce some winners on Facebook. So if you don't already, there are links for all of that in the description. If you want to find me on Twitter, if you want to find me on Facebook. I don't really do Instagram. I may someday. I just haven't started yet, so you don't have to follow me on Instagram. I think I have an Instagram. I think so. But it wouldn't let me choose the name Crabbok, so I just never used it again. So I'm not even sure what it I don't even know what my Instagram is. So anyway, let's talk about some changes to this page because we're going to pull it up and we're going to look at it in real time. So here we are. I am at the upcoming page. Now, I say upcoming. It doesn't mean there's a new page that's going to go live at some point soon. No, the upcoming page is a page where you can check the status of maybe your favorite expansion, or there's some new game that's coming out, or reprints. Reprints are a big thing too because a lot of people are curious about, well, when are these reprints coming out? I wanted to get an Architans for Star Wars Armada, but they don't they're where are they? Well, maybe they're in development. This used to be this long list of like basically this is like just about everything that Fantasy Flight has currently in the chain of being made and being delivered and being shipped to stores. One of the things we can see at the top is Dewback Riders in stores now. Well, if you've been following Star Wars Legion, you'll know that Dewback Riders are now available, for real this time, as opposed to that Gen Con release so long ago. But then we're also going to see the shipping now status, that's always been there. New thing with these statuses, though, is that you're now getting a release date. The release date is really nice. So if we look at Genesis, for example, I don't usually talk too much about role-playing games, but also, I do prefer the Star Wars role-playing game. It's really cool. You're going to see here, there is a U.S. release date. Now, if you're not in the U.S., this might not be as relevant to you, but generally, they try to make the U.S. release date coincide with the global release date. But yes, this also tells you the last time it was updated and when the projected release date is. Now, granted, these are subject to change. If something, just happens to go wrong, they can change. But usually once they put the release date in here, it's usually pretty locked in. This is something new that they've added, is the release date. They have sometimes announced release dates in the past, but not always. The Legion paint sets are also coming out very, very soon, so I'll be on the lookout for those. I am not certain if I'm going to buy and review these, just because I've got so many paints already. I don't know if I can really justify buying 3 whole paint sets when I really don't need them. I don't know about that. Now, if a Fantasy Flight wants to ship me some paints and say, here, have a look at them, I'd be happy to. But the paints just seem weird. Like for the original core set, really? Like, how many people do you think bought their Legion core set 2 years ago and still haven't painted it yet? Like, I feel like this was, like there's a little too late. But on to the main point of this video, is the in production status. You're going to see this down here as this orange kind of factory iconography over here for in production. Now, what does this mean? Well, this is kind of an amalgam of every other status that they have ever had. They used to have, in development. They used to have at the printer. They used to have on the boat. And there was even some other ones for things that were kind of like backlogged and like in the queue and stuff like that. But basically, those statuses were not accurate. So I have talked about certain things. Oh, this got changed to on the boat. We've talked about that before. I've talked a lot about the boat before. And the boat's not really helpful to us unless we have a boat ID to track. And certainly that happens sometimes with Kickstarter games where you'll actually get a boat's actual identification number and you can track them. There's websites, maritime websites, where you can track a boat's position. I don't need to do that. I don't need that level of micromanagement over the product. But those were always highly inaccurate because years ago, when I first started playing X-Wing, these statuses were updated very, very frequently. And they were pretty much in real time. You had about 6 to 8 weeks for the boat, and then and then a certain amount of time for once it went to the printer, and then there was a more definitive timetable. Well, things changed with the company, and I think it was probably around the time that Asmodee got Fantasy Flight that a lot of things changed. There were probably personnel that shifted around or whatever. Whoever updated this or whatever system updated all of this, I think there were probably some changes made because it not long after that it started to become less and less reliable. Some items wouldn't even make it on here. But some items would. And status like on the boat almost became meaningless. Some things would say in development, like the Super Star Destroyer stayed in development for a year. Was in a year. It still said in development. And what does that even mean? In development, well, it's not still in development. If it was still in development, they wouldn't have even announced it yet. By the time they announce a product, it's done being developed. It's locked in, right? So by the time something's announced, it's not in development anymore. So that was inaccurate completely. And at the printer is not really helpful to anybody, whether it's at the printer or on the boat, because the boat times have been notoriously variable. Some boats could make it in 6 weeks. Some boats would take 6 months. whether maybe sometimes there's accidents at sea. Sometimes a boat, has a collision or drops a shipping container or something like that, and then they need to do a reprint on something, or whatever. And we don't need to be cued into all of that stuff. All we really need to know is when their projected release date might be, and some of those will have those. So now, we can look at, let's look at the latest Starships and Speeders, this book for the RPG, right? They're projecting that should be February. That's great. Now you got to understand, when it's just a month, that's more of a rough projection. Could slip a little bit, but they usually have it kind of narrowed down to like, all right, we definitely expect it to be February. Armada Wave 8, they don't have a date yet, but they have a month. So when they have a month, it's a little bit loose. When they have a date, it's a lot more concrete when they have a specific date. So Armada Wave 8 still looking to be December. Now some of these, and a lot of the Legion product is still set for December, so that's cool. And then there's like a gap where we're jumping from December to February. I don't know if we're going to get anything for Legion in January unless it's a surprise. But yeah, it looks like we're jumping from December to February for Legion, which is fine because there's a lot of stuff still coming out in January. And then the stuff that's coming out in February is going to be expensive. So it'll give you a little bit of time to recuperate after the holidays, which is very cool. But all of these are still tentative because they don't have specific days lined up in December. And it's also always possible that some of this product could slip. The holiday shipping, icy roadways may cause some trucks to slow down or whatever. Some of this stuff may get pushed back into January. It's always possible. So, don't worry too much about it. But the month is more of a flexible timeline. X-Wing's got a lot of stuff for January, especially the Hot Shots and Aces. Well, no, that's February. I think it's the Obstacle Pack. Never Tell Me the Odds and the Obstacle Pack that one's set for January. So we're seeing a whole lot of, meaningful information on this page now. And it didn't used to be meaningful. So I just thought it was really cool, and I got to applaud. I think Evan has been making a lot of communication from FFG and FFG marketing. They've really stepped it up lately with the communication and keeping people informed because, when you're a super fan of a game, when you're really interested in these games and you just got to have that next expansion, it's really cool that you want to be kind of clued into the pipeline of, hey, what is coming out? I think this new method of communication is precisely why we haven't seen as many updates for a lot of other games lately. Specifically Legion, right? We haven't seen a whole lot of brand new product announcements lately. Now, we had, for a little while, been getting a ton of new product announcements, especially right at Gen Con. And there's been, one of the things they're trying to get away from is like announcing something and then you don't have it for a year. I think they're trying to kind of get away from that a little bit. I think that's one reason we haven't seen any new product announcements for Legion lately. I think that's also a reason we haven't seen any, firm updates on Armada: The Clone Wars. I think they want to probably keep that window down, a little more narrow, maybe 4 or 5 months ish, because like the farthest out item they have right now is projected to be March, right? I don't see anything in here that's April or beyond. And most of it's January, February. So it's like they're trying to keep stuff into like, hey, we're announcing this, and you'll see it in 3 months. You see it in so you know what? That's going to actually, they've been like at a 6 month plus window for a little while. And if you're shrinking that window down, we're in that time period right now where it's going to feel like nothing new is coming. It's going to feel that way for a little bit. So if you were getting used to so much new stuff constantly being announced, well, now all of a sudden you're in this dark time where you have to wait for the system to catch up. My prediction is once it does catch up, once we get to that point, like once we get to March, and now the prediction, the stuff that's on this page is showing like April, May, June, that's going to be a really good time because now the new system hopefully is in and is updating in real time. And now every month we're getting something new, because all the stuff that they had to start on a year ago is now like getting closer and closer to being able to actually be delivered. So, this is a great system. I like this new system. It becomes very, very easy to track stuff. We'll have to see though how reliable this information is and how accurate the shipping information ends up being, because there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to shipping lots of product worldwide. So let's try to be flexible. Hopefully these are pretty close estimates. And, a big thanks to FFG for making a positive update on this website. It's fantastic. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Make sure you click that subscribe button. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And check me out on social media, Twitter and Facebook. And, watch for those 12 Days of Life Day giveaway that are happening in December. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I hope you have happy holidays. And I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a great day.